I did, yeah. Welcome, everyone, to Two Guys in Hockey Talk. My name is Pawel the Cat, and I've got my very kind co-host, Evan. Evan, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, man. I got my cheer. Here we go. Ready to go. If you guys got your drink out there, whatever you got, cheers to Jam Pack. So I had a conversation. I was looking at, we weren't able to get Hart this week, but had someone else that was kind of scheduled. And folks, I looked at what we have for content this week, and I just made a decision. I made an executive decision here and did not involve my partner. And I just said, dude, we got too much to talk about. So, by the way, can I say what a wonderful do? Your hairdo is looking sharp today. I don't know if you had an interview, if they're interviewing you maybe for the New York Islanders. We'll talk about that because who knows if Patrick Pawel will have a job tomorrow. But anyway.
Oh, I think he will. I did this just because I wanted to look good for you and our audience because, you know, I try to bring it to every episode.
Okay. But we're off to the races then. Let's do it. What's up?
Oh, my goodness. My thing is frozen.
Oh, you froze up? Okay. That's what happens, guys. This is live. So one of the things that's important, why don't we go ahead and just bring it up on the stage, guys?
Yeah,
every week, Two Guys in Hockey Talk. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us over on YouTube. You can catch us right here on X for some of you that are over there. Make sure that you subscribe if you're over on our YouTube channel. Follow us each week. Take a look. Catch some pieces. If you are on Facebook, make sure if you want notifications, follow us there as well and like everything that we got going, and we appreciate it. And we are working hard at trying to get all the extra, trying to get hard to get StreamYard to work with X and see if we can make you guys that are following already, many of you on X, every week. There is like a low week for X is like 75 followers. Following live. That's live feed. That's not the hundreds and hundreds of others that are following. So some weeks we've had 400 to 600, but generally we have around 100 people following us live just during the live feed. So the other part is, guys, hey, check out our website, Two Guys and Hockey Talk. My great partner manages the site, keeps things up going, gets all the articles around it that might be actually playing out there. So definitely make sure that you guys jump in and, jump on board. So I see that Pawel is like knocking me out while I'm talking it, so I don't know what he's doing.
I apologize. For some reason, my access to all our stuff is not working, but it is now.
It probably just wasn't working on your end. I had all the access. That's what happens when computers freeze up. So anyway, guys, again, back to our website. Check everything out. We keep as many listings. We probably have over 40 to 50 guests we still have not updated. And we do apologize, but we just want you to guys recognize this. This is a non-monetized show. We work with our partners that we provide contact. They provide contacts with us. We collaborate together on different projects. But essentially, we have a regular job, and then sometimes we don't have all the extra time outside of it. I had someone recently ask me, they were saying, listen, what do you do for a hobby? And I go, hobby? Who's got the time for a hobby? I guess my hobby is Two Guys in Hockey Talk. It's because of how many hours we got to take outside of the show of what's going on in the communication. So I will say everyone kept fairly quiet this week in my correspondences other than who I reached out to. So it was a good week. Anyway, I want to thank Flow Hockey, guys. If you want to watch some great hockey all around, there can be up to 50 games on at a single time. The Pro Hockey Group with Jason Bacala. You guys, you can go check them out. They work with Puckpedia as well and are in partnership with them. And speaking of Puckpedia, you can also Check out anything that you need. You don't need Cat Friendly anymore, man. Not only did Washington buy it, but it is much better at Puckpedia for all the things. Check out what's happening. Check out, hell yeah, the Northern Michigan Warhounds in the American hockey. Okay, I have not done this in a couple weeks. It's been my partner doing this. Is it the American Premier Hockey League, I think is what they go by now, a couple years ago. For websites, definitely JR Web Designs.
APH, American
APHL. That was right. American Premier Hockey League. I always call it by its acronym. I don't call it by the actual name. And then, again, our music and our intro and outros are by Penny Billionaires. I just want to give a shout-out to them. But, awesome. So you think you got it all figured out?
Yes, we did. So we're going to get started with a little Revs Top 15.
Revs Top 15.
Brought to you by the electronic hard rock band Penny Billionaires. Look for them wherever you find your music.
You guys know we love our prospects, and Evan's going to go through his latest Revs Top 15 because he's got a lot on the go here. And we're coming up on a deep draft that we're going to be following next June. Yeah, you think that's far away. It's not that far away. It's coming just around the corner. And a lot of these teams, whether it's Calgary, whether it's St. Louis, whether it's potentially Buffalo at the bottom of the standings, are going to want to potentially get their hands on Gavin McKenna. But he's not the only one there, Evan. So let's get into who you've got listed.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, there is now rumor that some are starting to consider to rank number 2. I've ranked Keaton Bearhoff, because of just his urgency in his game. We'll talk about that another time, though. Folks, number 2, Keaton Bearhoff. I am not going to talk about him other than if you did not know this information, I did not share this previously. This was news to me. I did not know as I began to deep dive. He transitioned from a goalie to defenseman at age 12. So you got to wonder if that really actually helps his defensive game, understanding how to work with the goalies. And then he was a Montreal Canadiens fan growing up. And so, of course, Carey Price was his guy. I actually, guys, want to talk to you about Robrecht. Number 4, I have him ranked, Ryan Robrecht. Why should he go early? What are the reasons that we should put Big Ryan in there? Well, I'm going to give you a few. There's a few key elements to his game that are very important and very legitimate that makes him an early draft candidate. Now, I have him 4th. Some have him around 6, and some have had him a little bit later. Some have had him at 3. But listen, it's his size and his physical frame. He is 6'4", 216 pounds, playing in the O right now. He's had the kind of body. He has the kind of body NHL teams are prizing for in a power forward, but of course he's a defenseman, and so they don't mind them if they can skate well, and he does. He also has goal scoring instincts, and he's got incredibly powerful shot. Some of the scouts that you read about, and a few that I have actually talked to, say he scores from a lot of different ranges, and they said you would not believe, for example, the ability that this guy has in up close with his skill with his stick. Now, his offensive versatility, he is described sometimes by some as a sniper, even for a defenseman. That's kind of different, Pawel. And there's a mention of him being a dual threat. In other words, meaning the ability to make plays, handle the puck, create space, and finish in tight. I guess that's not dual, that's quad threat. But production, he's not just a project. That's the key here. He's put up big numbers in junior. So last year, he had 41 goals and 87 points. In the O already. That was in his D1 year, 87 points in 64 games. Now, he is an older draft class edge to him, though. So because he's a late 07, so that could put some teams a little bit on edge. Maybe that's what holds him away from considering, because he's big playing against smaller guys. But we'll see how that goes. But let me just tell you, the areas to monitor, to watch for. He's going to have to improve his skating and agility. Some reports mention his stride and his mobility as good, but still, he is beyond what you could imagine for a player at this size. But it could limit your quickness, and that is also his compete level. And I wonder, Pawel, when you're dealing with other players that are a lot smaller, does it affect your compete level, right? And then defensive zone consistency. We need to see a little bit more out of him. So what should you watch this year? Folks, in my wrap, what to watch as his year progresses? His skating and speed. Will he improve? Does he improve those first few strides? As you've seen this year in Connor McDavid, when you do a little bit of work in your quick acceleration, it can make the world of a difference. Also, consistency of engagement and physicality, which we just covered. And I like to see a little bit more of his two-way and defensive game of how he's doing it on his own end. So right now, over the Christmas season, this is what I'm going to be focused on beginning of December to the end of January for him. And then really, what's his projection like against the stronger competition? Those are the things that I'm looking at. But number 4, guys, I have Ryan Robrick at number 4 in my Revs top 15.
Revs top 15.
Brought to you by the electronic hard rock band Penny Billionaires. Look for them wherever you find your music.
Excellent news. And I agree, Evan, like a lot of these prospects will develop their game a little bit ongoing all throughout their career, right? So they find their, two-way game, they find those defensive liabilities, they adjust to the NHL, see what they need to tweak. They work with coaches, specialists, and that's how they become even better and really find their game once they enter the NHL. Speaking of young prospects, it sounds like both Edmonton and Red Deer will be hosting the 2027 IIHF World Junior Championship from December 26th to the January 5th. It's pretty incredible that it is Alberta bound. It has been here before. It has been a success. It's going to prop up the market. A lot of people are going to go see it. I'm going to probably do my best to go check out a game because there's going to be some young, great talent. And I honestly love going, Evan, because there's some incredible players to watch that will be in the draft or are prospects now for NHL teams. And you can see glimpses of what they can be, right? And it's a great way to get out, see the family, see talent, raw talent, and it'll be interesting to see. So would you be going or no?
Oh, absolutely. This year, I like to even catch a game in Red Deer. I think it's a great chance to get away, maybe catch 2 games on a weekend or like a Friday, Saturday or something like that. But yeah, definitely this year, not this year, but when they get back here, it's definitely going to have to be a must-see for me.
Yeah. And in other news, the Winter Classic, people know that's coming up with the New York Rangers versus the Florida Panthers. The game set for January 2nd, so the day after the New Year's at the Lone Park in Miami, which is a unique kind of place. The jerseys have been revealed. You guys can go take a look at them online. They look pretty good.
I haven't saw them yet.
Florida ones, but I haven't really enjoyed the New York Rangers. I mean, they just have the Rangers logo on it. I expect a little bit more. But, they're going to look a little different outside. So hopefully they match with the ice rink that's out there. But you had some news that's been going on around a stadium series, correct?
Yeah, so this is interesting. A great follow is Kevin Weeks. It's always funny watching, all his tweets when he puts out stuff. But he's a legit source. By the way, he is also, if you guys don't know this, he is vying for a general manager position soon. And I could see within the next year or two him getting something. He's on top of the game and he knows the game. Maybe he was only a backup goalie, but man, he knows what he's actually doing out there. So yeah, but listen, he 4 years ago went to league office and said, listen, a stadium series in international games would be hot. I mean, that would be smoking. People would love it. And supposedly this year, there is now discussion about stadium series games on international grounds. So that could mean a game in London. Now, what would you think, per se, or China, or who knows where they would do this to promote the game of hockey like they are right now? So maybe in the global series, or do they make it one of the games, another 2 teams play in 2 different stadiums? So where would be your place? So I'm going to ask Pawel where he would pick a stadium to play in an international hockey game, regular season game, but also for you, where would you pick? What would be that location for you if that was you out there? So, Pawel, what would be the stadium you would like to see a game in?
So I would say Wembley Stadium would be phenomenal. It's one of the biggest stadiums in the world in England, and I believe in London. I mean, you have some of the biggest artists of the world perform there. Why not have a hockey game? Why not have an all-star game there? Can you imagine the excitement of the best on best, like a Four Nations, there, or like a Team Canada versus a Team USA, or like you pick the best players regardless of what it is, and they go head to head, East versus West, as we used to have. That would be incredible.
So, okay, I am a little confused. I think you got a little excited because you said you like to see an all-star game, but then I heard you talking about international play, and then you're back to all-star game.
So you
said Four Nations
from
so
all different, like the best of the best, regardless of nationality, onto your team. So regardless who it is, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Who's the best player? You can have Connor McDavid and Miro Heiskanen from the West, right? And Cale McCarr.
Right.
Versus, you can have Victor Hedman on the other side from the East with Austin Matthews, right? Like, imagine that. Like,
okay,
that's Kucherov and Austin Matthews.
But playing it in a stadium game is what you're saying in another country outside of the continent of North America. You know what, buddy? I'm on that train. Sign me up. I am on the stadium train for international play. So guys, this is what Kevin has said, that it's out there, and he is the one reporting that the discussions, and I trust Kevin's word. He's pretty good on there. Can we just move over quickly?
Jordan says San Siro would be pretty cool too.
Where?
San Siro.
Where's San Siro? Just help me.
It's in Milan, Italy.
Oh, well, no, that'd be crazy. Yeah. I mean, hey, they're having it in Miami. And then, by the way, for those that don't know, was it 2027? Dallas is hosting in Texas Stadium, or whatever the name of the big stadium is. So now let's move over just for a moment here now to some suspension talk. So Nick Cousins has been fined. Nick Cousins, guys, was fined $2,000. Remember, this is all that they can get fined for his diving and embellishment. Now, some people think this is suspension worthy. I don't know about this $2,000. Charging them to, like, are you just trying to build the fun? What's $2,000 going to do? Is it's really sending a message? You've already, I don't know. I think, they're trying to signal the league's focus on policing repeated infractions, as you mentioned too. But I don't know. What's your take? And then there's someone else that never got suspended. Maybe you can talk about as well.
For sure. So, I mean, the fines are in place due to the CBA. So they're already established. So it's already what the NHLPA and NHL agreed to. So that's going to happen, right? $2,000 to players like Nick Cousins is like nothing. It's pennies to them, right? That's right. Sometimes the team will even cover the cost. And Jordan says, just give guys a game and a fine. I agree. I think sometimes you want to give a game and a fine. That being said, sometimes players do fall. I mean, some players don't want to have their reputation. You look at Tim Stützle and some of the feedback he's gotten in his first few years in the NHL of being a diver. People don't like that. Jordan Kyrou is another one that people have indicated that like tends to dive a lot. I mean, you are on pieces of metal on ice. So of course, sometimes you're going to fall. It happens, right? In an awkward way. But I think what it is that you need to kind of get rid of it of the game. And if you're going to police it, you got to be consistent. If you're inconsistent, then the players never know when it's going to be monitored or monetized by the NHL and the refs or not. So we'll see how it happens. I mean, who knows if it wasn't a GM who complained about it or a coach, made a call to the league. It happens. Now,
just call a penalty, in my opinion, and move on.
Exactly. Now, the other thing that has happened recently was the intense game between the Dallas Stars and the New York Islanders. And there was an awkward hit with Mikko Rantanen taking Alexander Romanov. He had him in the numbers, and he went into the boards awkwardly. Now, if you watch the video, Patrick Waugh is furious. We know what he was when he was a player. He had a lot going for him. He was fiery, but he was livid. Now, we don't know the status of Romanov. We hope he's okay. We know that Mikko Rantanen isn't exactly that player. I mean, Patrick Waugh coached Rantanen for a bit during his time in Colorado, so they know each other. He knows the player. But I really think, this was unnecessary. They did give him the 5 minutes. Yeah. I expected one game, but the Department of Player Safety
Yeah.
decided, no, it's not worth it, which I don't agree with, because even if it's awkward, you still got to give him one, because Renton was still there and he had his stick on his jersey.
Exactly.
Regardless.
Well, and think of like some of the stars, right?
Yeah.
Star players like McDavid, it's a shoulder shot, it's a headshot. Yeah. It's to me, it wasn't a, and so he's been put out a few times. Rantanen does this a lot, and just give him a game, just show that, hey, this isn't okay.
I agree with you, and I think he should get one game, but I mean, it looks like he's not going to get anything. No. We just hope Romanov is okay, because that's the biggest thing. And then Lost Trucker says everyone who drops the gloves first should get an automatic one game. And Jordan said Australia is tough because of the time difference and how far the flight is. That's true, right? Nathan Walker, I think he's in Washington now, but he was with St. Louis for a bit. Australian-born player. Japan would be really cool if we're talking about places to have a game. I think that'd be really cool. But you know what, Evan? Sometimes having a game in the summer would be fun. Kind of like I don't want to say a regular season game, but just like a unique game just to have to host. Like, why not have one?
But you know what? You could do an alumni game in one of those play stadiums, actually. Like, or actually, this has never been done. Okay, let's dream for a moment. We're going off schedule here because Jordan's brought up something interesting too when he's talking about other countries, but in the summer, and you bring up the summer thing. What if you had an all-star game, an alumni all-star game, and they had to pick, they had to come up with something, and you pick your teams, like, the lottery or something like that, and they got to play each other. You get some of the top stars of all time. I mean, you still get guys like Jeremy Roenick who would lace them up, Oh,
yeah. And Jordan says that Walker's back in St. Louis. Yeah, so he went right back there. I mean, really, there's a lot of opportunities. Now, we wanted to get in a few other injury reserves. So Romanov has been placed on upper body injury for a while, so we don't know how long he'll be out.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about Charlie McAvoy and the puck he took in the face over the weekend versus the Montreal Canadiens when he blocked a shot. It looks bad. It looked like he was going to be out for a while. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, I mean, with Charlie, I mean, he's their top defender, right? Dealing with, so in this case with Charlie, he's been hit with the face and the puck. This is now, he's also dealing with a couple other little ailments that were smaller. So now, right now, it's undisclosed. But he was hit below the visor by that deflected puck. And so, of course, he had to leave the game. And then also Victor Arvidsson right now is also now on an injury. He left with a lower body in that same game. So, but how about like a bigger news, New Jersey, buddy?
Yeah, Jack Hughes with that weird injury during team dinner. He's going to be out for 8 weeks due to an off-ice finger procedure.
Okay, hang on. You said dinner? Maybe I don't know of
team dinner. He cut his finger, I believe it was.
During a team dinner, he cut his finger somehow?
Yeah. That was
my gosh.
That was the reporting. I could be wrong.
That's funny. That's funny if that's what it was.
It was just a freak accident is what had happened. Okay. But yeah. So.
Wow. And this is hard because a lot of Jersey fans, I know Leo and a bunch of other guys that you guys follow, the Devils, and it's a tough one because Jack Hughes doesn't seem to stay healthy. Even dinner takes him out. But anyway, now here's a more sad news. Here's another situation with another player. Kirby Dach of the Montreal Canadiens is out for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken foot. This guy cannot catch a break. I feel this guy would have been this is a player that I would have said could have had a career like a Corey Perry. Like maybe not elite superstar, but man, he could be one of the best players on your team. Great supporting role. He's always coming back from another injury, and it's really affected his career. But the Canadians are also dealing now with Alex Newhook, who has looked good to start the year. He's out 4 months now after getting ankle surgery. And so he underwent surgery on his fractured ankle following the collision during one of the games. So he's going to be out for a while, right?
At all.
Yeah. And then Caden Gooley is expected to miss between 2 and 2.5 months after his surgery on a torn adductor. Lot of torn abductors. And I was actually just talking to recently one of our former guests. I don't know if he wants me to say that he was the one talking about this, but he says, listen, I might have been a little bit of a frump when it came to having my abs, but and what I ate and how like he goes, I was fit, but I didn't have. And so we were talking about it, and he says how tight the muscles are on these guys and how fit they are when we're talking about low body fat. But man, a lot tear their abductors. That's a new thing. So Caden Gooley, another player, can't seem to stay healthy for the Montreal Canadiens. You need to get a season put together, man. You need something more than that.
Yeah, and there's just been a lot of injuries for a lot of teams, and I'll get into a few of them, but like Toronto's been decimated, Vancouver Canucks decimated, Montreal decimated,
Yeah.
and even Boone Jenner for the Columbus Blue Jackets has been decimated with an upper body, so he's on injury reserve. Nick Foligno, the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks,
Oh my gosh.
he got at least 4 weeks due to a hand injury.
Yeah.
And he blocked a shot, which is the right thing to do, but awkwardly, and so it hit his hand. They did beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, but he's going to miss about a month. And I mean, if you don't have your hands, it's a lot. So
yeah. And I think the thing that I mean, it is crazy how many injuries. By the way, guys, go to one of our partners and sponsors that we work with, Puckpedia. You can find all your injury reports. They don't give as much detail into them, but you will know what it was that is being disclosed as far as officially by the NHL and NHLPA. So I've been wanting to talk about this for 3 weeks. It's been on the back burner. I just want to take a few moments for those that do not know into a little bit more detail. So there was a Penguins fan that is recovering after a serious fall at the PBG Paints Arena. This was around 3 weeks ago. Actually, it was on October 27th. Not a player injury, but a fan injury. So a Pittsburgh Penguins fan suffering life-threatening injuries after he fell from the upper concourse, Pawel, at the arena. He is awake. He is alert. He was out of it for quite a while originally, but he fell from the 200 level into the lower bowl in the section 101 behind during the just being behind essentially the bench. And so he came stumbling down the chairs, tumbling over the glass railing, and he actually struck another spectator on the way down before he landed, and he was unconscious. So EMS and the arena staff had to respond. The Penguins have confirmed the incident in a post-game statement they did right after, and police have reported that the man attempted to move across rows of seats rather than use the staircase. So kids, folks, use the staircase. Don't try and jump over rows of seats. No one would have thought this was coming. All railings and barriers were intact, and they are intact. They're checked on regularly. The family says he's facing a long recovery, but the good news is he is improving from his initial condition. So it's a sad note, but I think it's important to mention, hey, when you go to games, guys, just be careful. These arenas can be dangerous.
100%. And Lost Trucker indicated she watched the Montreal Columbus game and it looked like a men's team playing in middle school. Size difference was massive. Jordan said someday all these players will be T1000 built-in AI.
They'll be what?
T1000. That's from Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
All these players, you know what? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But we wish everybody to recover quickly, speedy recovery, because you never want to see it, especially since, Montreal's gotten off to that hot start and now they're kind of rallying right now. But we'll get into a little bit more news. But right now we are going to get into Around the Rink. All right. We wanted to get into some news from the OHL. And one of the things...
Hey, it's okay, Pawel. We know that you're training up the newest hockey players, and they start young. I bet you've been throwing them up against the boards, and that's why you got the young one crying.
But I don't know if people saw, but it was pretty talked about this past week. The dangerous hit by Luke Drakuzica. He delivered a slash after being boarded into in the boards by Oshawa's Brady Blasek. And he swung right at him in his helmet and ear, earning him a match penalty and a pending review that could seriously impact his career. And a lot of people are saying throw the book at him. It did not look good. It was bad. It's just uncalled for. Even the hit wasn't that bad initially. You want to drop the gloves, you want to get physical, sure. But to swing your stick and intent to injure, I would suspend him for the remainder of the season. That's how I feel.
Well, wouldn't that make sense? I mean, suspend for the season and then make him go through a full review and literally have to go through something to deal with anger management, like a stick in the air at a head.
Not cool. We don't like to see that. In other news, and there's no easy transition, in the AHL, we've been noticing some goalies on the rise. So Jacob Fowler and Sergei Musharov. So we know Fowler's a top 10 goal prospect for Montreal Canadiens. He's played for the Laval Rockets. He's got 3 shutouts and 9 starts, right?
Awesome.
And I know that they're really good at bringing up good depth prospects for their goalie position. But he gives them an opportunity to bring him up if they need it, especially if they want to trade Montembeault, who's struggled a little bit this year, or if they want to keep 3 goalies on rotation, right? But it just goes to show you that playing a strong AHL game often correlates with good stability in the NHL, right? Because there's less turnover and more confidence. And as for Murashov, who's 21 years old, so again, very young guy, he was drafted 4th round by Pittsburgh in 2022. He's showing some really strong possessive numbers in the Wilkes-Barre Barons Scranton Penguins. He's got a 5-2-0 and 1.73 goals average against, along with a 931 save percentages, which is very impressive, right? So he had his first win on November 16th with a 21 save shutout against Nashville Predators when he got called up. So it's been really impressive. And it just goes to show you that they have potentially a goalie of the future or a good prospect chip if they want to move him out for whatever reason. But you never want to do that, right? Could he come in and help Shelovs? Who knows? They still have Yari on their contract. They have a few other guys. But it goes to show you that his transition is going well. Any thoughts?
I'm not. There's no truth to anything. This is purely speculation. But we've known that they wanted to move on probably from Jari a couple times now, right? This could be maybe an opportunity depending where things are going. Now, they've started off well, so that's changed everything. They might have just moved on quicker for, a player of sorts. And while Edmonton is looking for goalies and there's not much out there, they might be better to take a chance on. Some people would say it's not worth it. Other people would say, well, the truth is there's no goalie you're going to get that you can afford the price to get them or the price that it's going to cost to keep them, and or sign them in a UFA fighting bidding war. So you're going to have to take a chance. And if you think about the development of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization, the players that come out of that might be an interesting piece to see which team has some of the best prospects over the last 20, 30 years coming out of their AHL franchise in development. Because, man, it seems to – do you remember Johan Hedberg, the Moose? I mean, he was another goalie out of the Wilkes-Barre system. And if you remember, we formed one of our former guests, Robbie Schremp. He had to play in the system with Wilkes-Barre. I remember back in the day as a kid, I was like, that's a terrible system. He's not going to get the right playing time. He's not – and he told us live on air, he goes, no, they treated me good. I got a good fair shake. I just wasn't quick enough. That was his whole game. He was like Bedard 2 years ago. So if only Schrempy, you could have figured out what Bedard figured out this offseason. But that's another story. So
fair enough. And Douglas Savage, who was on the show previously, noted that he's getting his Gretzky sticks back real soon after looking for 42 years. That's incredible.
No way. He's close.
Yeah, that's very amazing. And
if you guys. And I was going to say, if you guys go back and check Douglas's show early on, he actually, on the interview, he actually talks about that stick, if you're not familiar.
And Lost Trucker talks, swinging your fist is intent to injure as well. It's just that you can injure yourself.
Okay, Jordan, there you go. We're going to have a war in the chat in just a moment. Swinging your fists is intent to injure.
Well,
Okay.
this has been Around the Rink.
You did cut off a couple things I wanted to highlight, though, but that's okay. You were excited. We have lots to cover, so I won't take long in this.
No, for sure. We can get to it at the end. But yeah.
You want to go back to the rink stuff in a while?
Yeah, in a bit here. Yeah. We'll come back. I just wanted to note a few things. So Adrian Kempe finally gets done. 8 years, 10.6.25 million. So LA has their star winger set for the next little bit. Good contract. He's 29, although we'll see how it is in 7-8 years time, but it doesn't matter about the future. It matters about right now. They're in competitive mode. They've been doing well. They started off slow, but it's been going well. And he is technically in the final year of a 4-year deal. So, the Kings wanted to lock him in and didn't want to lose him. Although
Edmonton wanted him. There was talk about Edmonton wanting him to play with the money that McDavid was giving up. Well, that's gone.
Yeah, that's all gone. Now, there are still some other potential players, but again, he's off the market. So, a lot of these teams are kind of locking these guys up, which will make free agents frenzy next year kind of dull, because I expected a little bit of a battle, but we still have players like Panarin who are unsigned. What's going to happen with Alex Tuck and Tage Thompson in Buffalo, depending on how the season goes. So we're not out of the woods yet without some excitement. And Colorado, speaking of a team that's been on the high right now, they signed Scott Wedgwood to a 1-year extension. He's a 10-1-2 record with a .913 save percentages and 2.26 in 14 starts. I mean, they have a really good defense, Evan, but they've also really committed on replacing their goaltending last year. And if Edmonton wants to look about how they replace things, well, that's what they did. Now, some fans will say, well, look how they got eliminated by Dallas last year in the first round. Sure, but they still got to get to the playoffs, right? And anything can happen then. So it's been interesting to see what's been going on. Now, you wanted to talk about an exceptional player that's kind of caught your eye this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one is in a very big way, and that's Trevor Zegras. So, folks, Trevor Zegras is rising fast with the Philadelphia Flyers. Just wow. And Jamie Basco, a longtime partner with us, and we work together in the hockey circles. His friend Mishkov, Mafia as he calls him, has stumbled into a tough second season. But I want you guys to think about this. Trevor Zegras has a 75%. Maybe it's dropped down in the last couple of days here to around 70. Anyway, winning percentage in the faceoff this season while he's in the dot. Now, they traded for him in the offseason, and fans hoped that creative spark, his Michigan, his playmaking would infuse life into a young core, especially around Mishkov. He's delivering. But Mishkov is having one of the more difficult stretches. People thought that this would be a difficult one. So he has right now 19 points in his 18 games. This is a career year for Trevor, and that's incredibly good. But Mishkov, he's drafted 7th overall. They had high expectation. He's got 9 points or something in 18 games and a -4. Mishkov is only on track maybe to get 40 points this season, 50 if he picks it up. Way lower than they had hoped. And so there was some that have said Mishkov around the team. Now, this wasn't from Jamie, but others, that he has come out of shape when he started the season. And we've seen this with many players when they don't come ready. Pedersen, that was one of the things that a while ago with him too, right? So he's really going to need to make a push on that front. But I want to highlight the exceptional play by Trevor Zegras, and congrats on making this change. However, I have no idea how Rick Tocchet has two guys, to me, same kind of player, and one he's doing well and one isn't. So this is an interesting twist for me, buddy.
And speaking of Tocchet's former team, the Vancouver Canucks, Quinn Hughes was just named NHL's third starter of the week. He's returned from injury and immediately made an impact over 2 games, had 7 assists and including a 4-night assist against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So clearly he hasn't lost a step. He looks great. He's one of the reasons the team is still in it, although they've struggled because they've been decimated by injuries. Bluger being out. amongst some others. Demko having some injuries again. But, he's got 16 assists in 15 games. I mean, if you ever talk about a Hart nominee, that guy right there should be in it every year just because of what he brings to that team. And
true.
speaking of young, great players, Celebrini, I mean,
I know where you're going.
Continues to wow and dynamite. And I mean, this kid is like really come out of nowhere. Like we knew he's a first overall pick, but he's having a hell of a year, Evan. He had his third hat trick, including the OT winner against the Utah Mammoth, and he became only the third teenager in NHL history to reach 30 points in his first 20 games. You may know the first two, Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon. So it just goes to show you, like, that's how.
So hang on, are you serious? Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon, not Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky?
Is that who? Sorry, Mario Lemieux.
No, I don't know.
Sidney Crosby, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sidney. Two are tied for that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, could you imagine if those guys didn't get in there? But that's pretty. And don't you? I got to tell you guys, right now, my most watched team that I spend my time is the San Jose Sharks. My second most watched is the Chicago Blackhawks. And what did I say to start the season about Connor Bedard? Do you remember this, Pawel?
I do.
I told people that, listen, I got it wrong. He was not injured. He said, I am taking time off to go prepare so I can come back with an incredible year. And he would be a different player. Everyone was saying it all the way around. Anyone in the franchise, some of the scouts that saw him training that were over in Europe that we connect with had said the same thing. And it's amazing. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that year that Leon Draisaitl just took off. It's like he did something and he was just like a different player. But right now, it doesn't matter what he does. I think right now Macklin Celebrini is the number one best player in the NHL this season so far.
I think he's going to the Olympics. I really do.
Oh, I don't see how you keep him out unless he got hurt.
Yeah.
And he's not slowing down. He's not slowing down. I think he's going to actually get more.
Yeah.
He's going to be
had max 11 HT in a single season. I know. I'm not too sure what 11 HT are.
11 HT. Well, it might just be a spelling error.
Yeah.
But wow. That's crazy.
11 hat tricks. 11 hat tricks in a single season.
Oh, 11 hats. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
that's insane to think, right? So it just goes to show you. Now, we wanted to get into a few other trade and some rumors that have kind of emerged. But before we get to that, where you can take over, there was a minor trade over the past few days with the Senators and Flyers, where Ottawa acquired defenseman Dennis Gilbert for Max Guente. It's just a defenseman for a defenseman. Small minor trade, most likely Gilbert will go into the system for the Senators because they need some extra guys there. And of course, it looks like Danny Briere looked like Max Guente, so maybe we can ask Jimmy Basco about this, what his thoughts are on him. But just a quick minor trade. But you wanted to get into something that's been buzzing between the Hurricanes and the Sharks.
Yeah, so this is an interesting. I no idea, guys, how legit this really is out there. Just mentioning it for you guys. There is buzz. It's coming from 3-4 different sources. So there's something happening. It might be even less, but the Hurricanes are actively looking to add a defenseman. That's number one. So they've been on the waiver wire and they've missed out on some of the targets that they've been looking for. I know that for a fact through information that's been shared through credible source. So now they're turning to the trade market. So they're looking in that trade market. The Sharks, on the other hand, remember, they have a surplus on the blue line and they are open. We talked about that to our Sharks guy, Early Max, to start the season with one of our guests. Now, they have some that they're moving with expiring contracts to create cap flexibility for them and to promote their younger players. They could make that move. Not sure if now's the time, but they could. Now, because Carolina has over $10 million of cap space available, they are also in a position to absorb salary and make a meaningful addition without some major adjustments. So there could be something brewing. Keep your ears open. And can I just mention one other rumor? This is from a trade, or I should say a waiver wire, and that is Stetcher. Troy Stetcher just left. So Mike Johnson, TSN, some different reporting groups out there, they're all over that Stetcher is hot, and his comments, and it's crazy clickbait. And this is why. Because they're saying after the trade, he said the words when they said that you're coming into a fire, and he says, I just left a fire. It's the exact same thing is what he's saying. I've just gone from where there's a lot of fire going on right now with some of the stuff happening, how the team's playing, and I'm going to a team that there's a lot of fire here. That's all he was saying. Overdrive has blown this up. Mike Johnson has blown this up. This does not mean that it's terrible. So they are going on in all these channels, and they're going on about saying this is what's happening, and this is what Mike's saying, and I don't know. I'm growing weary from this, Pawel. It's just like the best in the business. This summer, it was happening all around Crosby and McDavid, and from the top guys like Elliot Friedman, all those. Probably John Shannon was one of the ones that was the most quiet here over that period of time. So anyway, those things are just frustrating.
He's going to make his comments. I know that when Edmonton was looking at moving him, they indicated that they want to give him a soft landing. So who knows what happened behind the scenes? They give him an opportunity to play. Maybe he believed he should have been the top 6 guy, and maybe he
wasn't upset though. There was nothing he said that's my point. Nothing.
No,
he said
I agree.
about.
And that's what you would think. But clearly, to say that I just left a fire, you don't say those kind of comments. You often.
What do you mean?
First off, I don't get upset with players who are colorful and share exactly what they're feeling, because we need more of it in hockey.
But the fire doesn't mean that, though. It's totally taking out of proportion. So right now, if I'm leaving a government that is dealing with deficit, and I go to another government dealing with deficit, I'm just going, from one fire into another fire right now. There's a lot of heat going on, and we got to perform. That's all it means. It's nothing. It's not a slight against the team whatsoever, Pawel, to me. And I think that
I agree. I think some fans probably took it, maybe Oilers fans saying, hey, listen, why would you say that to us, right? And maybe it has been blown up, but clearly
Toronto's blowing it up.
It's getting clicks, yeah. But I mean, really, there's not much more you could say beyond, what he said. We wish him all the best. He's a good, 7 defenseman, sometimes bottom pairing guy. I hope he has success with Toronto, who try to turn it around after winning against St. Louis. But there's a lot of work to do on both sides. Now, I know you wanted to kind of go back and just discuss some of the KHL news that we missed before we jump into hockey history, because I know you have some juicy stories there. So do you want to lead us to KHL?
Yeah, so this is just a quick little piece for everybody, just so you can have a little bit of understanding. So there's some couple coaching changes. There's actually been three coaching changes just happened in the last couple of weeks in the Continental Hockey League KHL over in Russia. So the Tractor team and Dynamo Moscow. So Tractor Shelobinsk, I am saying it wrong. I call him Tractor, it makes it easier, and Dynamo Moscow. So what has happened is Tractor has let go of their head coach, okay? Or actually, their head coach has stepped down. His name is Benoit Grulu. Actually has been in the NHL. He has cited personal reasons for the leave. That's all we know. But it coincides with the team's disappointing run. You just got to remember this, right? They were in the finals. They made it to the last 5th game of the final for the Gagarin Cup last year in the KHL. And now they've had a bad start to the year and they're struggling. So anyway, so he's gone. But now also on top of that, Dynamo Moscow, they have fired their head coach, Alexei Guzashov. And guess who has replaced him? None other than someone that the Detroit Red Wings fans know. His name is Vyacheslav Kozlov. And yes, he is that same guy. So we don't know if this is interim, if it's permanent, but Kozlov is coming in. But there are some concerns when you have a lot of coaching turnovers for the KHL, because they're always trying to be on top. I say I don't think it's a big deal. And the reason I say I don't think it's a big deal is because we see it in the NHL all the time. Coaches in, coaches out. It just that happens. They don't usually have as many changes as we do. But one last thing that I do want to mention just around some news that was junior. I need to take more time, but last week on November 13th, now there was a piece that you can go back and look at, but I know a little bit more details behind it. We shared that there was a meeting between the USHL, the Canadian Hockey League, with all three of their teams, and around the NCAA situation, USA Hockey, Hockey Canada, and they were in New York. Now, why this is interesting, there is signals that they could decide to move the United States Hockey League into the Canadian Hockey League and be a fourth league. So there could be 4 leagues within the CHL in major junior. And the reason is because they're trying to find ways to make it work. I don't know if that's where they're going to go or what's going to happen, but it's a new landscape. But it would give them a much better playing ground. They'd have potentially ability to make more money and then still keep some of the major junior talent so that they're not losing them, say now to the CHL where they were before. And remember, there was already teams like Musqueam and Youngstown who wanted to move over. So let's keep our eyes on this. This landscape is still a couple years away from knowing what truly is going to happen.
100%. So some more information we'll be following up once we have a bit more updates on it. But let's now get to hockey history.
Whoa, guys. So interesting. I am going to talk today about the most chaotic arena in NHL history. They are the Tampa Bay Lightning Horse Barn Rink. Let's take you back to 1992. And it was called the day the NHL practiced with horses. That's the terminology. It was a little headline that had come out. So anyway, if you did not know, the Tampa Bay Lightning had entered the NHL in 1992. And they didn't have a glorious home, a glamorous one. And their official arena, which has now been demolished, then was called the Expo Hall at the Florida State Fairgrounds. And it was actually at that time under construction. And the team was just scrambling for anywhere to skate while it was going on. So on November 19th, the Tampa Bay Lightning held practice in what truly may be the most bizarre rink in the NHL history. It was a converted horse barn. It was on the state fairgrounds. They had open barn doors. They had horses literally walking by while they're playing and practicing. And parts of the rink were not even built yet in some sections, so you didn't have boards everywhere. Now, the Lightning were an expansion team, so they had no finished arena, no practice facility, no real budget at the time, and they had a very tight schedule. So this fairground, they just said, listen, we have space available, but it's a livestock barn. And Tampa just, what are they going to do? So they're like, we'll take it. And so the arena had been used for rodeos and horses. I mean, you can imagine what it was. So this is some of the facts from it. What it was like. It was cold at ice level. It was 95 degrees, 2 feet above it, though. So ice, was cold. 2 feet above the ice, 95 degrees, because there was no insulation and the ice just melted quickly. So the plant was wonderful. You could hear cattle from outside, parts of the boards, as we said, missing. Half the seats weren't even installed, and it looked like a roller rink. Some people said that they forgot to finish. So here's some of the best and the most ridiculous parts. Is that fans, number one, could walk in for free. So security was minimal, that they would just watch in and watch practices just like it was a country fair event. Players said the building smelled like hay and Zamboni fumes. That was the other piece. And then water would drip onto the ice from the rafters, just because, remember, the heat that they were dealing with. Mm-hmm. And opposing teams that would come in, they were just in shock. In fact, I don't know which the coach. I tried to find out who it was. I could not find who that coach was. He says, I kept waiting for a cowboy to ride across the ice. That was his kind of stuff. And sometimes this was the worst part. Sometimes the ice buckled because it wasn't insulated. Sections would rise or soften depending on the weather. But anyway, even NHL executives admitted that this setup was just temporary chaos. But to their credit, you know what? The Tampa Bay Lightning, they simply just made it work. So the barn practices became a symbol of how far the franchise has come from. It talks about the strange, gritty realities of like expansion hockey back in the day. It's very different now. And it's an incredible contrast with the success that we see now. But that, guys, I'm telling you, is one of the most chaotic arenas in NHL history. The Tampa Bay Lightning Horse Barn Rink. And that's hockey history.
That's some great info and history. So thank you so much for sharing. If you have a piece of history you want to share with us about the world of hockey, feel free to reach out to us. Make sure you email us at twoguys@hockeytalk.com. And remember, guys, we are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are also on YouTube, on Facebook, on X/Twitter, on Instagram, and we have our website where we're regularly posting articles about things happening in the world. So thank you so much for the support. We're going to wrap up here in just a sec. But before we do, any final thoughts, Evan?
No, I just like to say, guys, thanks for jumping in, and also just put a big shout out there for, over 150 of you, like 150, 160 of you jumping on live. Can I just say, feel free to comment in the section, not just jump on and just listen, but feel free, throw a comment. If you don't want us to throw it up on the screen, we won't do that. Just say, please don't put it on the screen, but this is what I want to, or tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from, different places. So we get people in, whether it's up in the northern part, the northeast of the United States, in the deep south. If you're over in the Maritimes of Canada, some people sometimes have come on from Australia and places like that. Maybe they're visiting, maybe it's somewhere. So, but man, thank you so much for your followership. It means a lot to us, and we definitely appreciate you following us.
100%. And I did want to just mention and get your quick thoughts, because it just was announced. Adam Larrelly, the captain of the Winnipeg Jets, has extended for a 5-year, $5 million contract. So $25 million in total, $5 million AAV. I was speaking with some friends about it. They think it's a lot for a third line center, but I think he brings more to that than ever. He has missed some time because of hip surgery over the summer, so he's only played a little bit. But I mean, he's got 122 goals and 154 assists in 782 career games. So he's a Winnipeg guy. He represents that team. He is a glue guy. Especially with guys like Jonathan Tace, who was a former captain, Stanley Cup champion. Like, he knows how to bring it. He's a physical presence on the ice. Your quick thoughts on the signing?
So 2 years ago, or even a year ago, I might have said that's not that great of a signing for me. But looking at the prices now and where we're at, that doesn't sound like a bad price. And what he brings to that team in the back, think of what Corey Perry, the difference without Perry, what's even affected the Oilers. Now, he would never had those points if he was still with Edmonton, I don't think. But the bottom line is it was too costly for them to keep going when they had so much money invested. LA didn't. And I think the Winnipeg Jets, this is good. They're able to keep guys that want to play and want to stick together. So can I just say two things? This will be my last thought of the night. Is number one, I think Bedard makes the Olympic team along with Macklin Celebrini. Number two, I actually think that Winnipeg will get by the first round this year. They will not have the Toronto curse.
Or didn't they get by last year, beating St. Louis?
Well, I guess they did. So, okay.
Yeah. St. Louis is a 7-game series.
So Casey, if you're listening, you Winnipeg fan, I totally blew that one. And,
okay. We all have our moments.
I don't know if you're getting by the second round again. So I guess your guys is the second round. They blew it the year before it was against Colorado and got it the year. But yeah, okay. Well, anyway, that prediction doesn't mean a whole lot of nothing. Okay.
It's been fun. We appreciate you all tuning in. Remember to give us a like and subscribe to our channels. We appreciate hearing from you guys. We love connecting with you. Thank you for your comments to everyone tuning in this evening. I know there's a lot of hockey to watch. I mean, the season's getting close to American Thanksgiving, so I know we're going to tentatively know which teams are in it and which teams are going to be sellers. But we're going to bring you more information, the latest and the greatest, next Wednesday night. But in that time, in the meantime and in between time, Evan,
keep your sick on the ice. Cheers,
stay
guys.
safe. Have a good night. Cheers.